Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Haas, your favorite BOF podcast co-host. And before the show proper starts, I thought it would be fun to announce a little contest we're going to do. Contests aren't something we do a whole heck of a lot of on the podcast itself, but I thought it would be a fun time to change that. This episode you're about to listen to is our commentary discussion for Batman Ninja, the new DC animated film. And I thought it would be fun to give away a digital copy code for the movie. So to enter the contest, all you have to do is, send in iTunes reviews for the BOF podcast. If you've never sent in a review before, great, make one. If you already have sent a review in before, that's also great, make a new one. Since the podcast has changed a little bit over the years, it would be great to get some updated feedback on what you think about the show now. So all you got to do, again, is send in a review for the podcast on iTunes, and I think I'm going to give it about a week. So on, let's say, May the 26th, I will look at all the reviews and pick a winner at random, and I will get in touch with you either through the podcast or on Twitter, probably through the BatPod Network, at BatPod Network Twitter handle on who the winner is, and that'll be a fun contest. So, again, send in your reviews and win a Batman Ninja download code. And with that, on with the show.
I have given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill
The Bat of Gotham.
You don't really think you'll win, do you?
I'm Batman.
Hello and welcome to episode 116 of the Batman on Film podcast. BOF is the sponsor as well as a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network. Check out all the shows over at batmanpodcastnetwork.com and follow our brand new Twitter account at BatPodNetwork. If you're listening to us on iTunes, if you do take the time to rate and review the show, we'll read it on the air. Batman on Film is now on Patreon. If you like what we do here at the site, whether it's the podcasts, vlogs, or the website itself, anyone help us. If you're so inclined, head over to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm for all the details. I am the host of today's podcast, Ryan Haas, and I have a couple of pals joining me tonight. First, we have Mr. Peter Verra. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you? It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm doing good. I'm glad we're doing this show. It is another BOF After Dark show. It's probably my favorite kind of format because the day's over and all that stuff to do is talk about Batman.
I can't get enough Batman Ninja, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that is the topic of today's podcast, but it's not just me and Peter Verra. We have one other person joining us, the amazing Mr. Rob Myers. How are you doing, sir?
Very good, sir. Thanks for
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, no problem. Justin Kowalski was going to try to make it, but he came down with a cold and cannot talk very well. I think he spent too much time trolling me on Twitter today about Dark Knight Rises and John Blake and stuff, and, I know that doesn't really make much sense, but I wanted to troll him just a little bit. I did want to also plug real quick, at the head of the show, he is doing a panel this weekend in, where is it, Ontario? Canada?
California.
Yeah,
California. No, not Canada. Not Canada. It's very confusing, but it's at the Comic-Con Revolution at the Ontario, California Convention Center, and it's on Saturday, May 19th in room 104B at 2 p.m. It's going to have Justin, obviously from Batman on Film. It's going to have Andy from Holy Batcast and Matt Ritchie from the Let's Go Comic Show, and they're going to do a panel on Batman in cinema, past, present, and future. So that sounds pretty cool.
That's going to be awesome.
So if you are in the Ontario, California area, be sure to check that out. I'm excited about that. I hope that he is able to record that panel because that sounds like a good time.
So you mean I drove to Canada for nothing?
Yeah, don't drive to Canada for nothing because
Okay, game.
I don't even know if they
All
know
right.
about Batman up there. No, we got Ricky Church up there, but I don't know. Can't guarantee that. But today's topic is Batman Ninja, the DC animated movie. It came out on Blu-ray last Tuesday, and it came out on digital a couple weeks before that. And I'm excited about this. And we're going to just do a standard, review show of it. But since the movie's not that long, we actually decided we were going to do, yes, a Batman on Film commentary, which is something I am a big fan of, and they can be quite fun. But first, I wanted to cover a couple little topics with you guys before we start. And first of all, are you guys fans of Japanese anime or manga, or fans of Batman? Are you familiar with the Batman anime or manga before Batman Ninja?
I was never a big anime guy. Never really got into it, but obviously a huge Bat fan, so willing to give it a shot. I feel like the closest thing I've personally gotten to this genre, or just way Batman's presented, was Gotham Knight. And that came out around right after
2008.
Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was right before Dark Knight.
Right before Dark Knight, yeah. And it bridges the gap between the two.
Yeah, it's kind of like a continuation of the Nolanverse, and that's about as close as I got to it. But that also, that animated movie felt kind of grounded, and while it was kind of anime-ish, I felt like it was simplified, whereas this movie is just like a full-on, this is just an anime movie with Batman characters. And that's what really, I wasn't really into it when I first heard about it. It's not my thing, but I'll watch it because it's Batman. And I enjoyed it, and I really did. I liked it a lot. I saw it at the premiere in New York, and that was fun. And there was a lot. It was cool seeing it in an audience, with an audience, in an auditorium, in a theater. So that was a positive experience as well. So I've liked it from when I've seen it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I was going to have you plug all the stuff. That was my other topic, honestly, was I wanted you to kind of plug what you did and what you covered for BOF, because that was some pretty good content.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a real kind of surreal experience because I got to meet Grey Griffin, Tara Strong, longtime voices of Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Daphne from Scooby-Doo. I mean, and Tara Strong, her IMDb page is just 500, characters long.
Yeah,
it's huge. And then Tony Hale, Roger Craig Smith, getting to meet, these people who get to, they voiced the characters a few times, like Roger Craig Smith, Arkham Origins.
Origins, yeah, he's real good in that.
He was good in that, and I like his kind of deep and down Batman voice, and I was all for it. Oddly enough, he also voices Sonic the Hedgehog. He's another one. He also bridges the gap too. He's done voiceover work for Resident Evil, so that's kind of similar to having, being dubbed in I guess a movie. So that I found that interesting. So he kind of works within this kind of realm.
Interesting.
And that was cool. Yeah. But, and then we also had, we watched the movie obviously, with an audience, and that was great. And there were a lot of, positive reactions. People were clapping, laughing, cheering. There were a lot of really good moments throughout the movie where people really got into it. We also had a panel afterwards where everyone gave their two cents, and then just I also had a fan interviews at the end, just reactions to the movie, what they like, and everyone seemed to really enjoy it. So we have a lot of cool stuff on Batman on Film on the YouTube page, definitely to check out. Between interviews, between fans, and just the cast members, there's a lot of good stuff on there.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we've got all that video content, we've got reviews, and now we're going to have this podcast, and not just a podcast, a commentary. So I think, yet again, BOF is doing a just kick-ass job of covering some of these animated movies. So what about you, Rob, in terms of the Batman anime manga exposure prior to this movie?
Not much, other than what Peter just said about the I want to call it Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knight.
Yeah, Gotham Knight. Yeah, I'm thinking of the comic book series. No, that's not it. That, and then probably in my youth, the closest thing I think was getting exposed to would be stuff like Battle of the Planets, G-Force, depending on how it was, released in the U.S., Voltron, like those type of things that were anime-ish, but more with the American frame of mind attached to it. Some Robotech stuff early on, but that was just about it. If there was a toy involved in it and it was in the US stores, I bought it and watched it on Saturday morning. So other than that, I didn't. Yeah. I had a friend that was just really big into it, that was trying to get me to watch a bunch of stuff, and I understood it. So when this came out, I had a pretty good idea of like, okay, it's going to be the Japanese animation, and check your Batman, DC continuity at the door of what of the characters, and know that it's the Batman archetypes set in the Japanese anime world. So if you can kind of set back, this is really, like you say, Batman's a very malleable character. They really malleate. I don't even know if that's a real word, but it is tonight.
They put it to this puts it to the test for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely there's even like a Power Rangers moment, and you're just kind of like, whoa.
There's more than one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, for me, I've lightly watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, but I was more into the Pokemon, craze when it started in, the late 90s. But I was exposed to some of the other Batman anime, actually Batman manga stuff before this movie as well. I mean, there is, if you look into it, there is actually a lot more than you'd think. We mentioned Gotham Knight, which is the anime released in 2008. I think it's pretty cool, underrated film. I think it's worth picking up. And actually, I've mentioned this before. It's worth getting that Blu-ray just for the commentary that has Kevin Conroy and Dennis O'Neil interacting with each other. I mean, you can't get much cooler than that. So I would pick that up just for that. But as a kid, I got Batman Child of Dreams by Kiya Asamiya, and that is a hardcover manga that I'm not sure if it was released individually or whatever, but I got it as just a giant hardcover when it came out, and I knew it was Japanese, and it was just very interesting. I think it came out 2000-ish. Something like that. So I got the hardcover, and it's just a really interesting adaptation of Batman. Of course, it's kind of, there's some level of interpretation there when it gets translated, and I remember it just being really kind of crazy. It had some interesting ideas. It had I think the plot centers around like a street drug, and it makes people take on the characteristics of Batman villains. So you'll see people turn into the Penguin or turn into the Joker or whatever like that. Whoa. And yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. So it's if you're looking for something just really off the wall and different, I would suggest picking that up. And all of these Batman anime and manga are like that. There's also a little bit more recently, there is Batman Death Mask, and DC actually released that in comic book sized. Yes. Okay. Yeah, they released that in comic book sized issues, but then when they released it in a trade, they actually released it in the small manga format. So that is, I remember reading that. That one's pretty good too. I would say Child of Dreams I enjoyed a little bit more, but Death Mask is also pretty good. And kind of the granddaddy of Batman manga is the they call it the Bat manga, which is from the 60s. Batman, it was born of Batman.
I'm actually
60s.
Holding it in my hand right now, actually.
Oh, do you have it?
Yeah, I'm looking at. I literally came across it just in time for the movie. And,
interesting.
Yeah, it's just good timing. Well, by my comics.
That is the Batman manga created in 1966 by, I believe his name, I'm going to butcher it, Iro Kuwata, and it has now recently been translated and it's available for purchase here in America. And there's a few different ways you can get it. A few years ago, back in 2008, there is a like a big collected volume called Batmanga: The Secret History of Batman in Japan, and that has some good stuff by Chip Kidd. If you're familiar with his work, he was able to work with a bunch of people and track down a bunch of the original manga pages and have them translated. And so there's a bunch of it in that. Is that what you have?
Yeah,
or do you have the? That's what you have.
Yeah, with Chip Kidd, Jeff Spear.
Yes,
yeah,
cool.
That's it.
So yeah, that's kind of a cool book. It is not complete.
You kind of read it backwards.
Yeah, you just like which is the way to that's the way you read manga. So or manga, and that's cool because they have like original sourced artwork in that, and it's translated for the first time. So, but it's not complete, and they have some information in the introduction in that book too, where they talk about if this does well, we can have another whole volume of this. And I don't think that happened, but what they did end up doing was I think they were able to get all of it, and I think that this was also made, under. DC was not aware that this was being made, or it was made outside of, copyright or whatever, I believe at the time.
I don't see a DC logo on the book.
Right. So, but now it's, DC does kind of own it or has appropriated it because it's Batman, so they own it. And it's part of the, history and legacy of the character at this point. And so they got all of the complete works of this Batmanga, and it's available in 3 separate volumes now. In 2015, they came out with three volumes, and they are manga size, so they're the smaller versions. And they're only like $15 a piece or something like that. So if you want, you can go to the store, comic book store, have them order it, and get these 3 Batmanga volumes. They're pretty cool. And and just, speaking about how it is part of the legacy, that's not just me saying that because it exists. It's been put into other forms of Batman. If you've read Grant Morrison's giant run on Batman, by the time he gets to Batman Incorporated, the big shtick behind that series is Batman, going global, and there are different Batmen in different areas of the world. And when they get to Japan, there is a villain that is called Lord Deathman, and that's just not made up by Grant Morrison. That's actually one of the villains in the 60s Batmanga, which is like a really cool, that was what Morrison's run did. It took all this crazy lore and history of, Batman's entire history and kind of made it all, try to make sense of it in one giant story.
He confused the hell out of me. He really dug deep.
But for sure. I mean, he made, I'm sure it made sense to him. But it made for some good comic books and some confusing ones. But he put Lord Deathman in there, and Lord Deathman is also in Batman the Brave and the Bold. There is an episode of that show. I think it's called Batman's Strangest Cases. One of them is, I think, Batman and Scooby-Doo tracking down Weird Al, but the other one is... kind of inspired by the Batmanga, and it has Lord Deathman in it. So there's, like I said, there's a whole bunch of anime and manga type influences for Batman, and I think that this Batman Ninja movie is kind of the cap of all that, because it's wild, it's crazy, and I just thought it was really cool and kind of a fun and different way to experience the character. So. Yeah, so you guys got anything else to say before we hop into this commentary?
No, man, I'm ready.
No, let's do it.
All right. I think we did a good enough introduction. I think we just want to get in it. So I think we're going to start this at 000. If I press play, I will start to get the Warner Brothers logo, and I'll do the countdown. I'll do the 3, 2, 1, go, and on go is when we'll press play. All right. So if everybody's ready, 3, 2, 1, go. I have my Warner Brothers Pictures logo coming up. And here's the first thing I want to ask right away. I assume both of you guys watch this with the American voices, like normal people,
correct.
Right?
Yep.
I've watched bits and pieces in Japanese. It's different.
Okay, so I had a Twitter poll about this, and I asked, like, how are you going to watch this? Are you going to watch it with the American voices, or there is an option to watch this in Japanese with Japanese translated subtitles, which means that it is actually an entirely different film. And that is how I have watched it. I have not watched it with American voices. I've only watched it the alternate way. And there are a lot of differences. Well,
I'll have to check that out.
So what they've done, if I found a few articles talking about how this movie was made, and so basically there were two teams. There was the Japanese team doing the animation and the storyboards and making their version of the story, and then you had a separate team, which was the American team, or the team making it for the American audience, that was like seeing what was being made, and they were trying to figure out the story on the fly at the same time. So there are some differences, and they've just kind of made them kind of work for both audiences, and that is not exactly how a lot of anime are made. A lot of times the anime will get completely made, and then for the American audience, it just kind of gets made after the fact. But this was kind of a strange, in tandem kind of production. So,
wow.
Before
they didn't tell me that at the premiere.
Before we get started, real quick, the ninja sword that you saw in the very beginning, I freeze framed that just staring at it the first little bit. That there was such good amount of detail on the DC logo, and then I just wanted to ask you what you guys thought of Batman's not in continuity, but in his world Bat costume
of this film.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. I mean, it's like a cross between the Arkham games and the Nolan suit, the Dark Knight suit.
It reminds me a lot of the Telltale bat suit because it's got
that too. It's got the lights.
Yeah. I feel like it's very Arkham and Telltale.
And the whole movie, it does feel very video gamey. Like you've got like these almost bosses set up that rule these different, districts of Japan, and as we'll see later, they have to combine into mechs and robots and stuff. And a lot of times when they introduce the characters, they'll have like a very video gamey, like Ninja Batman or Penguin or
But I mean, the movie is so detailed in every scene.
Right.
Everything is animated so beautifully. Like not even just like Robert's about the sword, but the whole movie is just beautiful.
I love
There's so much to soak in.
He's trying to find a spot to grapple out of and realizes there's nothing higher than...
I know that was such a good... Even in the version I watched, without the English, because there was no dialogue there anyway, you just kind of know like, oh, he's going to have to come up, he's going to have to be Batman and be more clever than relying on his gadgets for some of this.
At the premiere, I did a quick interview with the Japanese creative team, and the writer told me that he loved his first Batman story that he read involved Batman somehow turning into a gorilla. So he's had a thing for Batman and monkeys, and he was very happy that he could incorporate Grodd and the monkeys we'll see later on into the movie. That was a big thing for him to bring to this movie. That was one of his
That's
favorite
very interesting. That's very interesting. And speaking of adaptation, something very interesting I read about the Batmanga itself from the 60s was that the artist, creator of that, writer-creator, was sent the scripts or something of the original comics, and he read them and threw out the stuff that he didn't like and took the things that he did and decided to, just morph them into something that he thought would work for a Japanese audience. So they were like these very like seeds of a story, and I thought that was a very interesting way for him to approach that. And I think that seeing that, in reverse almost for this movie, was an interesting way to do it. So right here, this is a prime example of the kind of dialogue variants you'll see in here. So if you're watching the Japanese version, Batman, when Batman gets spooked here, he calls the Joker a bastard, as opposed to damn you, in the American version. And Joker defines himself as the Devil King of the Sixth Heaven, Lord Joker.
Really? I love this shot of Joker in front of the moon.
And it's really great. And another thing is, I've heard some people not being huge fans of the Joker voice, the American Joker voice, but one thing that's really cool if you watch if you listen to the Japanese voices with the translated subtitles is you hear the Japanese voice actors, and I can't understand Japanese, but I can get a lot of the inflection from their voices, and man, the Joker voice is just amazing because it's very guttural and spooky as hell and and like evil and stuff, and that totally comes across when you watch this.
I still enjoyed Tony Hale's Joker voice, though. Like, I thought it was good. I liked his laugh a lot.
I liked his laugh, but it was too chipmunky at times.
Okay.
I thought. I mean, it was okay, but I think out of all the voice cast, he's probably my least favorite.
And here's another fun difference. In the American version, Joker says here, don't you know how bad razor-edged fighting fans are for the environment? And in the Japanese version, he says, in primary school, didn't you learn to protect nature?
Oh,
right there.
I like the Japanese line.
So do I.
Yeah. And he like schools them on, and then they have a conversation about Japanese primary schools.
I really like Batman's sense of how they animated his movement. Still very stealthy, and his against just that Japanese anime. I shouldn't say influence, just how their characters move, but there's something still very central to how Batman moves. He's not doing anything out of the ordinary, but there's that little bit of something you don't quite see out of an animated Batman.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because, it's Batman, is a ninja, and this movie is called Batman Ninja, not just because of the anime influence or because it's an anime. It's because there are ninja in this movie, and as we'll see, Batman has a whole army of them that he gets to use at his disposal later on. Pretty much everybody turns into a ninja in this movie, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Except for maybe Harley. Does Harley ever turn ninja? I feel like Harley's just Harley.
Yeah, she's got the mallet the whole time, right?
This is fun. I like this.
I love this.
Yeah. That's a great shot of him upside down under the bridge.
This is so
I had no clue what was happening when I first saw this. I was like, oh no, what's happening? Oh, Catwoman, okay.
Yeah. I do like the tech that Batman has early on in the movie. Like right here when he's he'll eventually end up using his cowl as like a map or something.
Yeah, like a projector.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I was really kind of excited. If this is the scene I'm thinking of, you're getting to see all of the other heroes, Nightwing, Red Robin, Red Hood.
Yeah.
And I was curious.
Everybody that got brought over, yeah.
Yeah, and I liked thinking at this, like, I wonder if we're going to see what Nightwing's costume looks like before we see him in his, ninja garb.
Mm.
And that was kind of cool that the version of Red Robin that they chose was the full cowled version.
Mm-hmm.
The pre-New 52.
Pre-New 52, yeah.
Good version.
Oh, I can't stand that feathers capes look they gave him for New 52.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I like how Penguin's like cold-blooded here is the only one who doesn't have like what's it called? Infrared like signature, if you look at that.
Oh, yeah. I never noticed that.
Yeah, if you look at
that's
if
an
you're
interesting
a predator,
touch.
the penguin can hide.
I guess Mr. Freeze could too. Man, that would have been cool to see an anime Mr. Freeze. Maybe they'll do a sequel. They should do a sequel to this. Think about like a sequel where they're just in regular Gotham. Could be kind of fun. It is cool how many Batman characters they were able to cram into this. Like you said, Rob, when's the last time we had, Tim Drake, Robin in any Batman animated movie? It's been years.
Jeez.
Yeah. Unless you count the Batman Unlimited, but I was thinking, the Mystery of the Batwoman.
Right.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the last ones, again, other than the...
Because Return of the Joker came before that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Damien's had more movies than Tim now you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the way what they've done with Damien in the new movies.
Same here.
I just wish they had Tim.
Yeah. I think Deathstroke's design is really cool in this.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
The way that they have the mask. It's the bottom half of the mask with the eye patch.
I was a big fan of Two-Face, his design.
Mm-hmm.
And even his mech at the end was very interesting.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, a lot of the characters, the freakish villain characters, translate really well to anime.
Yeah.
You know?
Penguin's got some freakish features in this. He's got the spiked teeth and...
Mm-hmm.
This was a really interesting section, like you were mentioned earlier. It seems a little video game-ish, and
yeah, it's like it's
up.
plotting out, setting the stage. Yeah.
Feels like I'm playing Star Fox again.
Yeah.
I like how Two-Face isn't even here. It's like kind of like blotchy going down his face. I always like that. I hate it when it's like a clean line.
When it's completely yeah. Man, he threw that acid on his face and it was a split clean line.
Yeah. You know, the one thing about the character design that I was very concerned about was the Joker, and the Joker mustache doesn't bother me in the movie. I don't.
Yes,
really
I kind of forget. I kind of forget it's there sometimes.
Yeah, because it's so fine.
Yeah, until he starts playing, kind of twirling it and playing with it sometimes.
I'm still not used to the Red Robin haircut. That's a little weird. Or is it Robin? Which one? Who's got the
Damien.
The Damien. Damien is all.
So that makes me go, at some point they all decided we need to shave our heads.
I mean, they're there for according they're there for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, everybody's
Batman
there for 2 years
up.
before Batman shows up.
I guess they're blending in. This was
hilarious.
Yeah,
with the bat shaved in his head, and that's the kind of things where I'm just like, I'll just go with it.
Yeah, even
the bat tonsure is a nice touch. Yeah,
at the premiere after the show, at the panel after the showing, the animators were just like, "Yeah, we were just really glad everyone got that and had fun with it." I was like, "Really? That's all you guys had?" They're like, "Yeah, we just hoped you guys would enjoy it and get it and just laugh with it." I was like, "Okay."
The color palette in this change. It's so stark, going between this super bright video game to a really muted palette in just light pastels.
Yeah,
but it never seems jarring at one point or the other.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this happens a few more times in the film, and I think it's very intentional to kind of, set the stage, set the story in different
The Red Hood
perspectives.
sequence is very different.
Yeah.
From the rest of the movie. It's almost kind of like a short.
Yeah, when that happens, I was like, what is even happening here? What?
Yeah.
It was almost like the Animatrix or something, where
it's so drastic.
It just happens. But then I trusted that it would make sense later on, and it did. Even the way I watched it, and I absolutely would, if you enjoyed watching the movie, if you're a fan of it and you enjoyed watching it, I would absolutely recommend watching it in Japanese with the translated subtitles.
You piqued my interest. I have to know the differences now.
Yeah. It's a fun way to watch it. Absolutely. Because after reading that article, I forget where it was, but you can look it up. That article convinced me that it's a way to try watching it, because it is two separate interpretations of the one story, so you almost get two stories in one. And I like how Alfred is the cook.
Yeah.
Oh god! Even later on, he plans out the menus. It's funny.
Yeah,
it's just good comic relief.
And Alfred looks like normal, like his normal American version, except for the little hair, bun tie that he has in the back.
Everyone is adapting to their environment, it seems.
Yeah.
This Batmobile is pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
It's got like that 1950s bat hood. It's almost kind of like Snydermobile, you know.
And like you were mentioning about the Telltale games earlier too, Pete, like the Batmobile has lights that match Batman's costume lights. And I love that too, how the Batmobile's like, I don't give a crap, it just drives in the water and jumps right back up. Like, I was just laughing when that happened. That was great.
Get a Dark Knight Returns vibe out of this Batmobile. It's not as overly
it's a tank that
tankish, but yeah.
Do you remember for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, the like 3-in-1 Batmobile?
Yes.
Oh, I have that.
That's
so
what
do
this
I.
is.
Batmobile, Batwing,
Bat
Batboat.
sub, Bat pod, Bat plane, Batmobile. Like this,
I think my
this is
parents
the
saw
deal.
that as an opportunity to not buy me the quote real versions of all three.
Right.
I just had the one, I believe, but I was okay with that
I
because
own the
thought
real
that was
version
just
of the
cool.
Batboat from Forever, and it's totally worth it.
Same here.
See,
And the Batplane from Forever.
I agree.
I have the
I'm
I have the
with you.
big giant bat cave though. That thing's great.
I don't want to tick anybody off, but I like the Forever plane better than I do the 89 plane. I'm just saying.
As long as you don't tell me
I
you
can
like the
see
Bat
that.
Hammer.
No, I don't like the Bathammer.
the Bat Hammer is stupid.
Yeah, you could toss it up. With
The
a
Bat
Nightcrawler.
ski boat is badass though.
I like the ski
Yes.
boat. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That
This
is
was
such
weird
a
watching
specific.
him dance around like this.
Yeah.
It's just this. It's like little subtle things and like just how they perceive those animators perceive what the Joker would do, as opposed to, let's say, like American animators.
Yeah, like this is what a crazy kooky villain would do, and it's fun because it's a interesting way to see how different interpretations can be done of these characters.
This was the part where I was like, did I just see an arm come out? Okay, I'm in for a treat with this movie. There's an arm coming out of the building.
And it caught me off guard too, because this whole first sequence happens and I was like, okay, the castle just has a giant mech arm and that's cool and stuff, and it goes away for a while and I don't think about it much. But then later on we see that all these castles are like a different body part that end up combining together. I thought that was like, it's crazy, but it's kind of ingenious, to be honest.
And it's all because of Grodd. He made them all make them. It's, just typical Grodd manipulating everybody to get what he wants.
Something I think is really cool about this whole experience of this movie is the childlike mentality that's in here, and I mean that in the most respective way. Like when kids are together playing with their action figures, you would go, okay, and now the castle becomes a robot. That's totally in the realm of how you play. So
we were just talking about toys, and we're about to see this. I mean, the Batmobile just changed into the Batwing, and it's about to change into the Bat Cycle.
There's that fun, like Peter just said. The animators just had fun with this, and you could kind of tell.
This is a fun part here because they wanted to throw in this Batpod reference. Like this was a goal he wanted in the movie. I remember asking the animator, and he's like, I wanted to include that somehow and kind of pay homage to the Batpod that
Dark
way.
Knight.
Yeah, I think he did a really great job on it. It looks awesome. There's a lot of cool stuff in here they really, really just hit gold with.
Yeah. And just looking at the animation, it's gorgeous, right? I mean, it's one of the most interesting, like polished looking Batman things I've ever seen. And I think, you compare this to some of the other just, regular animated movies we've gotten lately. I think there's something to be said about giving creative teams like this their own thing and giving them time just to make something.
It's a great palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to just like, okay, well, we got to have 3 movies this year, and let's put them all in the same universe. And I mean, it's not to make it an analog for the movies or anything, but just animation like this can be so versatile. And this is a great example of that.
Bane is a sumo wrestler. I was like, okay, that's fitting.
That's inspired. It's inspired.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to see Bane, and to see him pop up, I thought was pretty.
Since Justin's not here, I'll do. Here's Bane. That's for you, Justin.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Batman. Yeah, and like the cloth turns into the tubes, like it's It's such a weird cultural amalgamation.
Yeah.
Sumo wrestler, luchador.
The animators really wanted to just kind of like this whole action sequence, just take it one step forward from like Batmobile to Batplane to Batpod. And then like, I remember
To Batmech. I love that right
there. The next
there.
thing was like, well, let's put him in a mech suit. And it's like, they just
Yeah.
literally tried to up the ante every chance they got. And they did a great job.
I loved it. I love the little eject Batman
Yes.
graphics user interface that happens there. I just died laughing when that happened. That like I'm like, who put that in there? Was that Alfred or like Damien? That's like
That's got to be Damien.
eject Batman thing.
Also, Damien in this movie is unlike any version of Damien you've ever seen
Yeah.
before. He's so likable. He's so enjoyable. He's so pleasant. And it's so different from anything we've ever seen for Damien.
Yeah. Totally. So the only one that's acting like the D-bag is Jason
Yeah.
throughout this.
Man, he's violent in this movie too.
Yeah.
Oh, he almost went off the edge, I think.
Yeah.
I like this scene here. I was sarcastic.
Anytime you have Batman and like bats as well. I'm a sucker for that. Anytime it happens, here Batman Returns, The Dark Knight Rises. Batman Begins. Like anytime, I just love that visual.
Yeah. Sorry, my responses aren't very swift. I'm getting caught in the animation.
It's easy to.
Yeah.
Nightwing's Goku hair here.
Yeah.
I really, really did enjoy Nightwing's character design in the movie.
I dug Red Robin's and Boy Meets World and Batman Beyond. Will
Friedle.
I can never say his last name.
Red Robin. Which that was.
Oh, is he in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Did not know that.
I like the Red Hood design too. It was so out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It took the Scott Snyder version from Zero Year and took it up like 3 notches. I love this. Anytime there's like a prophecy,
Yes.
it's like echoes of Return of Bruce Wayne, or when Batman got zapped back in time in the comics. Made me think of that.
Now this is a Japanese character that exists outside of Batman. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. I believe so. I think this Bat clan is brand new.
Okay. I mean, even things like this where they're going over the treetops and down through the mountain up here is just all done so well, and it's uniquely shot and drawn too.
Yeah.
It's unlike anything I've ever seen. And I don't really watch anime.
Yeah, I mean,
so, this is all really new to me.
And you take it from... Yeah, I mean, just first of all, I love how it's shaped like a bat. The
Yeah.
area. But you take what we've seen, because we do have precedent. We've seen Gotham Knight, and this is completely different from Gotham Knight.
Oh, Robin and this monkey.
It's pretty great.
It's so funny. I love this version of Damien. This might be my favorite version of Damien. I'm not even joking. I really do like this reinterpretation of the character.
Well, you know what? I mean, Damien having relationship with animals is not a new thing. I mean, in the
Goliath,
comics,
is that his name?
Oh, Goliath, and then Bat Cow, and
the Bat
Titus,
Cow, exactly.
Alfred the cat.
That was the name of his giant red wildebeest thing, right? It was Goliath?
Yeah.
Okay.
I skipped all that in the comics.
That was good.
Robin, son of Batman? You didn't read that?
Nope. I was like, Damien's supposed to be dead. I don't want him to be back.
I actually got back into Damien because of that run. I wasn't paying attention to his death.
Because they killed him. Because I read all the Grant Morrison stuff and they killed him. And I was like, finally, I've been waiting for this. He died nobly. Good day. No more Damien.
He died nobly.
Partly because I didn't like Damien, and partly because I'm like, okay, well now Tim can be the real Robin again. And then they brought Damien back, and then New 52 happened. And
how amazing is this Gorilla Grodd spa Batman scene? Like, this is something I never thought I'd ever see.
I know, and this is a good time to bring up. I think more characters are shown eating things in this film than probably any other Batman movie. And I assume that's got to be like an anime thing, right? To have people just eating stuff.
Gives it a sense of normality to it.
Yeah, like a social aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have Gorilla Grodd right here being like, might do a hero and villain well to kind of skinny dip together or whatever.
I do like how Batman.
Does he say that? Does he say that in the English version? Because that's what he says in the Japanese.
What does he say?
Something about how hero and villain. It might do good for hero and villain to, skinny dip together or take a bath together.
No, he does not talk about skinny dipping in English.
It wasn't skinny dipping, but it was like being in the nude together in a in the bath or something.
He did tell Batman maybe he should come out of the shadows, but nothing like getting in the bath.
So again, definitely watch or listen to the Japanese translated subtitles.
First of all, can Grodd? He just naturally skinny dips. He doesn't wear clothes.
He mentions he's like because he says that, and then he's like, "Well, I'm always mostly naked." And then.
This whole sequence here is great. This ocean sequence.
I just noticed something. On Harley's mallet, it has the two drum balls off to the side, so if she were in the Karate Kid, she could spin her mallet around. It would go dun 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 dun.
Oh God. I love the Joker outfits in this movie. Oh, Tara Strong, her Harley giggle is amazing. I can't get enough.
Now, have you guys had time to watch the special features on this Blu-ray?
Yes, I did.
I have.
Do they explain some of the animation techniques?
Some.
Are they computer generated?
I believe,
so like the characters.
In part, I believe so. But I think a lot of it's still done old school.
What I got from the premiere is the final fight between Batman and Joker in the movie. They used actors fighting
for like motion capture.
They used mocap, and then they animated on top of it. So that was the only fight in the movie that was like that. Just for that final sequence at the end, they used motion capture.
I mean, this is just fun. You're just on like a giant pirate ship with anime versions of Catwoman and Harley Quinn beating the crap out of each other.
Catwoman going Wolverine here.
Yeah. And that's a cool set of weapons for Catwoman to have. Like claws like that.
I agree.
The Robins are just great in this fight sequence.
They're the best. There needs to be a comic book that is just all the Robins together doing stuff.
I thought we were going to get that. Not to go back to the New 52, but I thought we were going to get that at one point in there.
Yeah.
I love this. I love the sense of distance being not like Catwoman's running around the bow of a ship that looks like it might as well be 4.5 miles long as fast as she's traveling. But there's just something really cool about that that's just very typical of Japanese animation to give you their sense
and then,
of
like,
motion.
Grodd clocks Joker up. It's like he went like 70,000 miles an hour. Batman's still able to rope him and just to fling him down.
Slam him down the ship in 2 seconds. He's just like super dead looking.
Tony Hale makes some really great, like, weird Joker noises throughout this sequence here, too. Just a lot of, like, ah! And I kind of got into it. I really like his Joker. I know a lot of people weren't a huge fan of it, but I thought it was fun.
This gorilla has strange powers. I love
Batman vs. Grodd happen often in books? I feel like it doesn't happen very often.
I mean, he's more of a Flash villain slash like super crossover type of villain, right?
Like a JLI or
or like a Justice League, yeah.
I mean, I was struggling to think.
He showed up on the Justice League animated series quite a bit. Didn't he?
But Batman's interaction wasn't with Grodd that much.
Yeah.
Solid Two-Face here. Like, Grodd can fly, too.
Yeah.
This 800-pound gorilla soaring through the air.
Turn
Japanese
and
line
pivot.
earlier was gorilla always thinks 2 or 3 swings ahead. I've got the Japanese subtitles, translated subtitles on, just in case something interesting pops up.
Huge fan of Grey Griffin's voice. The Catwoman character design, not one of my favorites in the movie.
Did you say designer voice?
The voice I love. Grey Griffin's voice is tremendous.
Oh, yeah,
It's great.
okay.
I love it.
The
100%.
design, it's a little too
much.
cutesy.
Yeah.
Like she's
A
got
little
the
too
bell, like she's an actual cat.
Yeah.
This looks really cool with all the orange.
Yeah, the
and
lighting.
red.
Yes.
Oh, lighting's
Yeah.
great in this. And this was something being the big Tim Drake fan in the room going, I wonder how much Red Robin's going to be in this. Like, that was kind of my initial poll. Like, well, I'm going to get it because Tim Drake's in it. And I was really surprised that each of the Robins had a good, fair amount of dialogue and screen time in this. I knew it wasn't going to be a lot, but even in this section...
He just had a great moment right here. Like, what about you? What are you doing? Let's go. You know, like, that's a solid Tim Bruce moment. It's really good. They definitely made the most of the Robins in this movie. If any of them, I feel like Nightwing probably got a little bit of the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Tim, Damian, and Jason definitely stole the show.
I love what they do at the end, where each one kind of gets a separate fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
I love the skies, the little, like
paintings.
Moon or rainbow circles.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait.
Like
I can't believe that I can't wait. I can't believe that they did not release this on 4K yet, because I can't imagine how awesome this will look in 4K when they do eventually release it in that format. Because there's just so much detail.
Yeah.
Two-Face Castle. That's what it's called.
Two-Face Castle.
I don't know what they just called it. Arkham Castle. I thought that was kind of a cool concept to throw Arkham in there somehow.
Grodd he's great. I can't help but think of the Flash TV show, God Hate Banana. And there he is, just hanging out in his mech capsule eating a banana.
I bet it was awesome watching this with a big crowd.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many scenes that, you know, like just got great reactions from, like, in the early on, the Batmobile transferring to a million different objects to Bane popping up. You know, at the end, this scene here has a huge payoff that's just standard Catwoman, just like, they nailed so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, between, like, later on, you're going to monkeys and giant, you know, 1930 Batman. And, like, there's so many cool things that, like, when they happen, people just went crazy for. And, like, movies like this, you know, we mostly watch them at home. To see it in a theater with people, and, like, these are all fans, you know, you're all, you know, so you're all here for the same reason, just you want to soak this in. It was such a great atmosphere and such a great environment.
Yeah. I really wish they'd do more of those, like, 1 day, 2 day theatrical run things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wish it wasn't Batman and Harley Quinn. I feel like that put a sour.
Yeah, that's the last one I did, and it was not a good experience.
I think that's the last one they did. I don't think Gaslight was in theaters.
No, the Batman Harley Quinn was the last one. They did Killing Joke and Batman Harley Quinn, like, back to back. And then when they did 66. One of the 60s. Yeah. 66. Mm-hmm. I did that one, but there was only like 3 or 4 people in the theater for that one.
I did Killing Joke, and it was a pretty packed theater.
Yeah, it was for mine too.
I've done all of them, and Killing Joke was packed, and Batman Harley Quinn was really full. The 66 one wasn't so much, but
yeah,
everyone did show for Batman Harley Quinn. Ugh. This is great how they break Batman down here.
Yeah.
Just to rebuild him back up. This is a great Bruce moment. Just losing all his tech and just realizing he's got to adapt again.
Even so, they still honor me as their lord. Give up? You asked me that? Don't be ridiculous.
I like how he takes off his cowl and then he puts on, like, the old school, like, Batman party mask, you know, with the strings.
Yeah.
And then the dawn of a new day.
Yeah.
Would he be
It's a cool transformative... It's a cool transformative moment, you know, in the storytelling to just see, like, Batman kind of stripped of all this stuff, and it asks him the question of, you know, are you still Batman without that? And he kind of proves it. It's pretty awesome.
I like this little change in animation here.
Yeah.
This is, like, the most generic Dick Grayson looks out this entire movie.
Yeah.
This, like, little Batman here in the corner seems very, like, Michael Turner-y to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, it reminded me of the end of the Dark Knight Returns. That little shot.
And then here's Alfred's dietary plan.
Yeah. Okay. Tonight's dinner will be wild game, perhaps boar steak.
If you want to have a body like Batman, follow the Batman Ninja dietary plan.
Fresh baked bread. I don't know what he said in the normal version, but that's what he says in the Japanese.
He says they have to wait to make fresh baked bread in English.
Yes, because they're waiting for the wheat to grow.
This was about the spot in the movie I went, oh, hey, we haven't seen Red Hood anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, he shows up. I'm not a huge fan of having Jason back in the DCU.
Yeah.
But when he is back, I don't mind him being a little off-hinged. You know, I kind of like...
That's his angle.
Like yeah.
Yeah, I like him skirting that line. Like, he keeps it in check when he's around Bruce, but when he's not, it's kind of...
He'll play by his own
rules,
and he'll play dirty.
Yeah, and this is the point in the movie where I just got really confused. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What are we seeing, like a alternate thing, or like what exactly is happening? And that's Joker, I guess, but why? And then I was like, why is this guy being brutal? I'm like, yeah. So I guess you learn that, at least in my version, the Joker brainwashed himself to forget that he was the Joker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the flower is what brought them back.
Yeah.
But it's almost played like they planted the flower on...
to give them time on purpose.
Like, knowing that this is the Joker and Harley, you're, like, now feeling sorry for them, where Jason doesn't care. He's just gonna...
it was weird. I did almost feel, I was like, wow, he's just, like, wailing. Like, I wasn't even sure if that was them at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still trying to figure it out the first viewing. But I also like the way when he tilts his mask up, he has a little Sub-Zero mask underneath. That was cool.
He's just beating him.
Yeah. It's almost like kind of disturbing.
They're intermixing the snake, which you would think that's the Joker, but the snake I think is actually supposed to be representing the venom that Jason has about the Joker.
Yeah.
Because every time that Jason says something, on this I thought, did he just blow his brains out?
Yeah, I was with you on that.
Yeah. It's supposed to represent how far Jason is willing to go.
Did they talk about this sequence in the premiere at all?
No, not this one in particularly. No. Like a lot of stuff, a lot of the sequences they talked about in the premiere were like the Batmobile sequence early on, about the monkeys and just why the monkeys were in the movie a lot at all. Like this scene wasn't really touched that much upon. And at one point they did mention like, well, why do we have giant robots? And they literally looked and were like, well, we're Japanese. That's what we do. You know, that was their reason. Like that's what we are. Like we put robots
one
and
shot
stuff.
at this.
Yeah. So like, but this scene, they didn't really talk too much about it, which I did find interesting because it's so different from everything else in the movie.
Yeah.
Like
how definitely break. Go ahead.
Sorry, I say, how unsettling is this for Batman to shake the Joker's hand and essentially say, "I'm sorry, he doesn't remember anything." This is the one part where I'm like, I don't think Batman would do that. It'd be like,
well,
I don't know.
Well, we've seen it in the comics.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, then again, Batman didn't know who he was either at one point.
It's
not my favorite.
Batman Raiden.
There's some twisted versions.
Yeah, here's
like,
the warning. It's like, especially if it's Joker, like, don't discount that he'll pull one over on you. This whole sequence is interesting because it does kind of break the movie up into these very distinct, portions.
I mean, how ingenious of a plan for the Joker to give himself amnesia, only to fool Batman to later on just come back and fight Batman. And it's just classic like Joker. Just I'm gonna do whatever I want to drive you crazy.
And for Jason to know, you're making the wrong mistake.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll go along with it, but I'm going to tell you I told you so in about 20 minutes.
Or in 5 seconds. That's the thing. It's like they leave and then all of a sudden.
I thought this was a nice transition from their crying to the laugh to the blood, putting the smile on his face.
Yeah. See, I wondered, like, oh, if they turn them, like, what's this going to do to everybody else? I thought that was going to be where the story was going to go.
This is where it just goes full anime.
Yeah, this is when I remembered, like, oh, yeah, the thing at the castle at the beginning was a thing, and now this is a thing.
Do you guys... I don't know how long you guys stuck around with Power Rangers, but at one point, like, there was a Gold Ranger, and he had, like, this Pyramid Zord. That's what I think of right now, because it had, like, truck wheel, tank wheels, and, like, it was just... That's what this stuff reminds me of right here.
I watched it religiously the first season into the movie, and then for whatever reason, I just stopped watching it after the first movie.
Yeah,
I had a hard time sticking around with it after the dinosaurs. Like, when they got rid of dinosaurs, I was like, what's going on? But
yeah, exactly, because that, like, perfectly tapped into the early 90s dinosaur craze.
I had a thing for Kimberly, and once she was no longer, I was like, oh, okay. This Deathstroke is so cool.
yeah.
See, who's the woman with Deathstroke, though? That's confusing.
Terra. That's who it is. Two-Faces is just crazy. It's...
They call it the inseparable Two-Face Castle.
Oh, it's so interesting. Let's have some tea before we leave, Alfred.
It's what, like you do.
This is so cool, seeing all the Robins of Batman and Alfred in meditation.
Like, the fact that he's able to get Jason to meditate's amazing. Like, this new Robin, I get it. He does meditate because he's nice.
I would just envision if this is normal Damian, Tim would be beside Jason going, will you pay attention once?
Yeah. Yeah, but he's like got a smile on his face. He's like, this is great.
That's my dad. And there's a part of me that wants Damian to have a monkey in the comics now.
Like, I was just going to say, like, when does Monkachi become canon?
Until Grant Morrison comes back. Be like the first issue. And there's always something about Batman and horses that I think just is awesome. It's like the whole Dark Knight kind of thing. Ninja Bat Knight. That's what they call him.
I think it was Samurai Batman.
Sengoku Batman. Yeah. Chariot. I hope we get some sort of like action figures or statues or something from this.
There is a Batman statue. I think if it's not out yet, it's going to be out really soon. It's of Batman in this dress on top of of one of the buildings. I think it's probably the first building that the Joker was in.
I love the Penguin's umbrella with his castle. It's great cutting through the vines here. Like, just embrace it, you know? At this point.
Yeah, if you're not on board by now.
Right.
Poison Tree Castle.
It's like, and they kind of look like Transformers. You know, like their heads.
Yeah,
like very
the heads.
So I started getting a very...
like a total Power Ranger, like straight out Power Ranger.
Yeah. I'm getting a very Voltron vibe out of here. Like once they all...
I never watched Voltron as a kid. I never did.
Oh,
I never got into it.
I liked Voltron always more than I liked Transformers.
But they were like totally different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like Voltron was like animated Power Rangers, for lack of a better term,
yeah,
correct?
Right.
Like when an animator gets like the drooping Two-Face lip, like he's got me, you know?
Yeah.
And his eye isn't perfectly round either. It's got that sunken in, but the white iris is bulging out of his head.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the horses have masks.
Yeah, this like them riding on the horses in front of the mechs or the Jaegers, whatever you want to call them. The Zords, whatever the proper term is.
The Zords.
The giant robots.
The Bat Zords.
Yeah, the boards.
The board.
But like that's just like the artwork's just awesome.
And how does Red Hood's horse even see? That's ridiculous.
with his red
hoods.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Jason, that's a wicker chair on your horse's head.
Momentum does not apply here. I love this part though.
Yeah, it's just so insane.
As soon as the gliders come out, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great scene.
And they nailed it. Like, I keep talking about Two-Face in the movie. They really did nail him for the short amount he's in the movie. Like, as soon as that coin changes, he's like, all right, this is it. Flip the script. And Grodd just grabs him by the head.
In Japan, it is said, obey up front, disobey from behind. So I expected that you would soon betray me. Does he say that?
He says something about, like, probability doesn't lie. Like, you know, like...
See, that's a completely different line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear the gliders.
This is cool stuff.
Just spinning him around and around.
Don't get hit by a foot.
So
I bet this, I keep going back to like, I'm jealous of you, Pete, but I'm like, I bet this would look awesome on like a big theater screen.
It was so great. I mean, just to be able to feed off the crowd and like, he's like, okay, like I got this. Everyone, everyone got this. It was just, that part's just the best part.
Yeah. Yeah, there'd be nothing worse than watching this with a bunch of people that are just like, huh?
Yeah. Like,
like, I don't get this. Like and that's the thing too. We even have a vlog on BOF where Bill and Rick talk about this, and they both liked it a lot. Like they got it. I mean, they're Batman. Obviously, Batman fans enough to get it.
It's fresh. It's new. It's a new take. Yeah. We don't see this all the time.
It's easier. It's easier.
Kind of feel the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's easier for me to make the leap when it's not like canon or a normal regular comic book or this is supposed to be this or supposed to be that. Yeah, I do have different standards of Batman media, depending on what I think something's supposed to be or adhere to. But
it's a great one shot.
Yeah, but the malleability works for this. Because it plays into... Because that's the thing. A lot of my Batman's malleable discussions, or this isn't... Just because it's malleable doesn't make it good discussions I have with certain people. The overarching thing is that you still have to get the characters right. The characters have to feel like the characters and do the things the characters would do. Even if something crazy is happening around them or something different. And I think that this one nails it. It's not like Batman... doesn't feel like Batman in this. All the characters, like you were just talking about Two-Face, like the Robins. It's kind of crazy how all the characters feel like the characters and act like the characters.
I mean, Joker especially. He's
not
even really the main villain in the movie. He's just, messing things up for everybody else. He just pops in like right now. It's like total Joker. I'm just going to come in last minute, steal the show. In grand fashion.
This kind of takes it also away from I've always said I'm not a big fan of Elseworlds. What happened if Batman was born in 1985 or whatever, in World War IV, 10, 12, whatever that crazy thing is. It kind of sets you in the place that this is the Batman that you know and like. He just happens to be teleported somewhere else, and that Batman has to figure out how to operate in this setting.
Well, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Does anybody else get Batman 89 vibes from this like Joker balloon?
From the balloon?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely when I was watching that, I thought, I wonder if that's where they pulled that from.
There's a few things like Catwoman's fingernails that feels very Returns for me.
How about a paralyzing flower which we grew with care? That's what she says. Oh, and then Joker gets called a bastard again. Thanks for the magnificent preparations, Ape.
He just calls him Ape?
Yeah.
This is great too. I love how they're literally flying kites and holding a gorilla. This is one of my favorite parts of the movie, with string. It's just so ridiculous.
And I think that, to me, the ridiculous, I mean, it's not that
it works.
It's not that it's unexpected. It's that it's not like there's not precedent in somewhat form, because you think about it. I mean, you had the 60s comics with the crazy, the giant pennies and giant dinosaurs, or Batman would get zapped back in time, or have weird things happen to him, alien planets, and you have the Batman 66. You have things like that already kind of stretched it to some degree. So those are kind of some of your first tests of like, throw Batman in another situation and he'll still work if you get the character right. And it's kind of cool. Like I keep saying, this is kind of an ultimate test of that.
What I also think is really fun about this movie is having, the whole Nolan trilogy, and then whatever you think of the DCEU, like everything has to be serious all the time. And this is a Batman thing that's just like, you know what? We're just going to have a good time. We're going to throw some Zords at you. We're going to do all this crazy stuff. And like you've been saying, Batman still is working the way that Batman. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on around him, but it's fun. Just want to sit back and just have a good time with something and not have to be every decision's life-changing,
Yeah. And like I said, I just from a fan perspective, because it's not a mainstream movie, it's not the Batman or Detective Comics, it's its own thing, and I think that makes it easier for fans to kind of get on board with this kind of stuff, and the mainstream just doesn't care and they just watch it anyway.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I don't know if I can get into, like, if this became, like, a whole series and just, like, if it went on for, like, maybe 3-4 movies, it might wear thin
right,
on me.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's just, as of right now, it's its own thing, it's self-contained, I can get into this and I really enjoy it. I can pop it in a few times because it's
right, the fact that it's different. Like, yeah, it's not like they're like, okay, this is Batman now. It's not like, of course I would not enjoy that, but the fact that this is this really creative thing that we get in between everything else coming out is that it just makes this that much more special.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them to do Batman Ninja 2, but the idea behind it, like if this is a really cool shot of them all running away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. But then to take this idea and go, wow, this was really good. The fans really like this. Don't give me Batman Ninja 2, but give me something in the spirit of this and go, okay, what else do you have that's going to make us look at our characters and heroes in a different light?
Yeah.
That's fun like this.
Yeah. Or just like I said, like find another animation creative team and just have them do a one-off.
Yeah.
Let's just see what they'd come up with.
I'm trying to think, like, from just standard American animation to anime, like what other kind of form of animation would you do? Like a kind of like what MTV did with that Spider-Man show in like the mid-2000s, do like a complete CGI animated Batman movie. Like, what do you think should be like the next thing we try to do?
Well, we had Beware the Batman,
yeah.
which was all CG.
I did like that, yeah. That
and it was really good. I think that's worth revisiting. Maybe we should do a BOF podcast on that whole series at some point.
That was pretty solid.
They did a good job with Professor Pig in that animated series.
I know. That's one of the first. That was one of the first examples of having that character in another medium, and that whole series was just really well done for a lot of reasons. But yeah, exactly. Like something like Beware the Batman, or just it's an obvious other iteration that can just kind of be its own thing, but still be fun and interesting.
This is great right here. I was really happy when the writer told me like how he has like this just affection for Batman and monkeys and apes and everything like that, and it really kind of like ties it together, and then you realize like, okay, so this kind of makes sense.
Right. Oh, and he plays the 60s Batman theme.
Yeah.
On the flute.
Yeah.
They did that on Gotham a couple weeks ago too.
Are you enjoying that, Ryan?
No. not at all.
Are you ready for season 5?
Yes, because it's going to be over after only 13 more hours to go.
Don't worry, Batwoman's coming, and the Alfred miniseries, which I'm kind of excited for Alfred.
Okay, so top 3, think about this. Batman on TV, we got 3 different things here, but Batwoman on the CW, very excited.
Same here.
Pennyworth TV series? No.
Really? I'm more excited for that than Batwoman.
Oh, no.
But then of course Gotham season 5, which, boy, I hope that goes off. I hope it goes out on a bang and they ignore seasons 1 through 4 and just do something else for 13 episodes. I don't know how they're gonna make 15-year-old Bruce Wayne be a believable Batman by the end of that series, but we'll see.
He's gonna do a time jump. Hanging out with Robbie Cano. I
don't see how they could.
Monkey. When the Joker shoots that missile and then he just opens his head up and it goes right through, it's hysterical.
Each monkey for all.
What is
all for each monkey.
Is that Robin? Yeah, he's saying one monkey for all here.
Power of monkeys, realize its strength.
Together we will deliver a devastating blow. He's a good cheerleader in this movie.
Yeah. Look at him run. It's great.
Hold my flute.
Bruce, I'm going to get revenge on Harley Quinn. I adore a man who forgives a woman's trickery.
She said something you can't forgive a guy who trusts a woman who can't stop double crossing him. The American line's not bad. I gotta watch this.
I mean,
movie
again,
this is
it's a what?
I gotta watch the whole thing with the
I know
subtitles.
it's fascinating, to be honest, because the whole thing is an adaptation, but then between the two versions, you get an adaptation of an adaptation. Go and greet them with a warm kiss.
That's exact.
Is that exact? Okay.
That's exact.
Awesome. So, see, I figured some lines they must have just said, we're just going to keep this word for word.
The English-speaking cast didn't see the movie in Japanese. I remember I asked, I believe it was Roger Craig Smith who played Batman and Tony Hale the Joker, and they did not see the movie in Japanese, so they don't know if things were changed in translation, really.
That's not surprising, because I assume they just showed up for like a day or something and just recorded their lines. Because they can do animation, voice recording pretty quickly.
This part here got a huge ovation from the crowd when the bat showed up for the monkeys.
I'm telling you, throw bats in with Batman and you've always got a winning scene. And just look how insane this is. This is so cool.
You've got ninjas on horses, monkeys making a monkey thing, and a Zord.
A monkey mech.
Monkey mech.
Yeah. And a swarm of bats around it all. Like
First Joker sword.
Joker's sword.
And the bat vortex making a giant bat symbol.
Dun, dun, dun.
Eat your heart out, Batman Begins.
Oh
my
Because
God.
Because now it's going to do something even better.
I know. This is just, like, everyone was so into this. The big
Like,
reveal.
make the 1939 like Batman
Yeah.
Zord.
For everything from the little gloves to the belt to the, the ears, the protruding ears.
they should-
Amazing.
It's the legendary Bat God.
I was literally on the edge of my seat on this. I just scooted up on the couch and I was like, I have no idea where this is going to go now.
Fire the Joker flame cannon. I was watching this at first. I was like, this is ridiculous and crazy, but is it really going to end with, two giant robots fighting each other? But then they managed to do everything, so I'm quite happy with how it ends up.
It just keeps upping itself.
Yeah, I like this shot too. Like, look how it plays into itself with the back and forth shockwave thing.
Why would you punch with your characters inside the fist of the other bat? Like, they're all in there.
Because you're trying to get into the
That's true.
mouth.
Because now he
Control
just drops
center.
Batman in.
Yeah. Like this. This is so
That
cool.
is cool.
Oh, and by the way, I watched this on my laptop too, and the audio in this is really good with the stereo. Like, you can hear the spatial audio just happening behind you, in front of you, and like the bat swarming from one channel to the next.
I'm having
Oh,
nightmares
this is
of putting
one-on-one
sound
showdown
effects in
here.
things.
I can't wait for the last part of your audio drama run.
Oh.
That has been so good. Your coin tossing life is over.
I will wipe that half smile right off your face.
And I like how each of them are paired up with a villain.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
really good placement.
He can really regrow that mustache really fast, man.
Well, it did say it was a
He probably
month
just
later.
grunted.
But that's
did
that's a
he?
fast growth for a month, though.
Yeah. This little flower.
No, I really did like his voice in this scene. Just that real evil, maniacal. He just had the inflection really well. I didn't mind his voice here.
I like how the dirt even looks like a Joker face.
You know, the face root. This is a weird reference, but it reminds. Well, not really. It's kind of related. It reminds me of Dark Souls. Anybody's ever played the Dark Souls games? There are these like little talisman tokens that have little faces on them, and you can toss them on the ground, and they say stuff like "Thank you," "Hello." That's how you have to communicate in the game, because you have little stones that say things when you throw them. Oh, bat sandals. I bet Rick Shu loved that shot. Batman.
That's a meme. That's a meme waiting to be made, internet.
Hashtag bat sandals.
Bat sandals.
Now regret your naivety and die.
So if like the fighting sequences weren't crazy enough up to this point, I mean, you've taken it up to 11 at this point. We're up to like 22 at this point. It just gets so good at this point.
Just seeing all these like one-on-one showdowns is really awesome.
Hey, and you know what? Here's yet another Red Robin versus Two-Face.
Yeah?
A Robin versus a Two-Face moment. We talk about that a lot, and everyone loves the Drake because it keeps coming up. And we were questioning it at first, but it keeps happening.
Yeah.
I will say the
I'll
only
take you
thing I
back
would
to
have
sanity.
rather have had was I would rather have had Grayson go up against Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Yes, I was just
Personally,
thinking the same thing.
That would have made sense.
But I understand, like, you want violence against violence. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. But, you know, at least they got Drake and Two-Face. I can't complain.
Oh, that's such a...
Harley does a lot of
Elixir.
things with her tongue in this movie.
Yeah, licking
I
her
know.
lips and just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all these, like, monkey butts running up Batman's arm.
That was a conscious... That had to have been a conscious choice, too.
I mean, if this doesn't make you want a Matt Reeves Batman movie, I don't know what does. Like, let's be honest.
The guys on BOF said they
You know
want
what?
a Monkey Bat Reeves movie.
Straight up,
Come on.
Batman Ninja
Caesar
film.
with Batman would be
BNOF.
unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Matt Reeves watched this and went, you know what? I've got my movie.
Gorilla Grodd's gonna be the villain.
Dude, that'd be the
Gorilla
best
Grodd.
team.
Know what I'm
Can you
doing.
imagine, like, Koba, the Joker, and Grodd versus Caesar and Batman?
Just drop Batman in the jungle, force him to figure out how to make his way without his
And
bat
then
gadget.
post-credit scene, you've got a Predator hunting down Batman. And then it leads to Batman Dead End, and then everything's connected.
There you
Every
go.
franchise is connected.
I love your movie,
Jack
sir.
Sparrow versus Batman.
Did you just say Jack Sparrow versus Bat?
Yeah. Yeah. Jack Sparrow versus Joker.
Oh, man. This is how we get Johnny Depp to play the Joker?
There you go.
Yeah.
Savvy.
Why is Laura always gone?
In such a wonderful setting, can't you say something clever, Bats?
That's a good Joker line. This is great. This fight scene, like, I don't even know how long it is, but it's, like, worth every second.
It's appropriately. Did you know in this situation in Japan they say "ningu"? It means pay your taxes, accept your fate.
What?
I assume he doesn't say that in America.
Pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes, Batman. Accept your fate.
Isn't that a line in the Lego Bat movie? Batman doesn't pay his taxes when he's singing.
Yeah,
in the very beginning?
who doesn't pay his? Who always pays his taxes? Not Batman.
Yes.
Yeah. I get a very Mask of the Phantasm vibe, just with everything exploding around Batman. And
With the final
Yeah, the
Joker
final-
fight.
yeah.
Mhm. I love this reaction here to the point blade.
Yeah.
That's a great Tony Hale.
Enough
like,
chatter.
noise. And this fight just seems very grand and epic, and
Yeah.
you know, just everything is so beautiful to watch.
And you said this was the the motion capture.
This was
Motion
the
capture.
mocap. Which, like, then knowing it, you go back kind of like, does the animation look a little different? Does it kind of look a little bit more computer animated? And it doesn't, and you're just like, you're like, wow.
Well, I think what
try
it
to
allowed,
figure out how they
obviously,
do it.
yeah, what it's obviously allowed them to do is to make it a lot more intricate and nuanced. You know, to make it
This is a cool
make
move.
the movements.
Yeah.
Him
Yeah.
rising up like that off of his back.
Like, that's such a creepy Joker thing.
Yeah.
Or at least Pennywise, too. Like, you know, like, just kind of like that, like, dead, broken body that comes back up.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just it's just brutal.
It is a pretty brutal fight. I feel like I've only really seen Batman use a sword in, like, Al Ghul-like scenarios, you know?
Yeah.
Whether it's Ra's or
Right. That's the
Talia.
typical. That's the typical scenario.
So this is very fresh to me.
Or Deathstroke, you know.
Yeah.
Deathstroke has his sword.
I feel like Batman never uses a sword though with Deathstroke.
He uses
like
gauntlets
Deathstroke
more.
uses it.
I'm interested to see how this current.
When I first watched it, I thought, did the Joker just cut his arm off? But it was just his shoulder getting sliced.
Just like a cut.
Yeah, I ended up rewinding it, going, "Holy crap, he lost an arm!" But no.
Yeah. No, I'm interested to see how this new Batman versus Deathstroke comic book arc turns out.
I'm 2 issues deep. I've been reviewing it for Batman Film, and it's
been good, right?
It's really good. It's really, really good. Like Priest is awesome. He's nailing it.
I love Priest. I just hope they don't do the, okay, it is Deathstroke's son. That'll piss me off. As much as I didn't like Damian at first.
Everything about Damian's pissed me off, so I would expect that to happen, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it is like, it's cool how similar that Priest is, like pointing out that they are. From everything from like Jericho to Robin, Wintergreen, Alfred, Talia, just everything is just so similar. It's really great.
A great Batman moment is going to happen here in just a little bit.
Like, this got me. And this got the entire audience, too. Like, everyone was gasping. Gasping. Like, people were talking to, like, do you know what's going on? Did you see that? Like, huge reaction at this moment.
Back to the soil, Batman. Oh. You're the one going back to the soil, Joker.
And then from here on, it's just total bat domination. Like, boom, I'm popping in and out of clouds. Here's bats. Here's this.
Yeah.
I got no cape.
A very ninja move.
Yeah. It's just cool.
The look on the Joker's face is done so well with this swarm of bats.
Yeah. There's nothing more awesome to see the Joker scared of something.
Look at this. And then this little move, this is like he does this little hand thing that is like typical of like combat in Japan.
Yeah.
And so like the animators like, yeah, like we just like we incorporate these things because this is part of Japanese culture. So we're definitely doing that intentionally. That's something they want to share with us. And this is very Dark Knight to me.
Yes.
This part right here.
Yeah.
You're destined to do this forever.
I love Tony Hale's Joker noises.
And
this is also the most out of breath Batman's ever been.
Right. But this version of Batman being Roger Craig Smith has done something very similar to throwing a thug off a Christmas tree in the Arkham games to get the information that he wants, and here he's kind of doing the same thing to this Joker, which I thought was kind of cool.
Nice. There's a lot of little homages to Bat's past.
Yeah.
Why does he just bring him with him? That's
well, because Mungachi's now got a girlfriend he can't leave behind. Ryan, don't break up families.
Then bring the girl.
Exactly.
Does Alfred want 2 Munkachis?
It's like, sir, I keep cleaning up after them.
She would not.
Master Drake, Munkachi keeps defecating in the.
Like, they are flinging poo.
I just like, Master Wayne, can I please have my tea in the study? The Munkachis are throwing feces all over the library again.
I could handle the bat guano, but not the monkey poo.
And that's what the Alfred miniseries is based on, and that's why it's going to be successful.
Sweet. The end. It's like, this is not what I expected.
The first ever bat signal.
Oh. So good.
It's just very refreshing. And then this stuff was
so
cool. End credits, you get to see their take on Gordon and Bullock. And
Yeah.
everyone pre Quake engine transformation. Like, that stuff's really cool. It makes me, I kind of wish we saw Gordon in the movie.
Exactly.
Same here.
Well, that leaves room for something in the future, I guess, if they decide that they can do that. Yeah, like you said, I think overall, I just thought that this whole movie is just a giant palate cleanser, breath of fresh air, something fun. It reminds you, like, oh yeah, Batman's can be fun, and it has all the character. It has a ton of characters in it too. So not just Batman. It's got all the Bat family. It's got all the villains, and it's just a kind of a fun nod to this, form of storytelling that Batman doesn't come across that often.
I think it's great how 2 years in ancient Japan is roughly 6 hours in Gotham.
Yeah.
I love this little carriage thing he's got. Glad that made the trip.
And I wonder what she's selling.
I love how the banana peel's still there.
Yeah, that's right. He threw that in there.
But, like, that's just... Is there anything more Catwoman than that? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
9 Lives or license plate. I just noticed that.
Yeah.
This is 89 Joker mobile.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, pretty much.
Johnny Gobbs. Now, if this is his Batmobile from, like, early Japan, why is Bruce Wayne riding in it? There's Bat logos on this.
Well, I found Batman Incorporated out of Japan. It's Japanese because I bought it in Japan.
Right.
Sorry.
I bought it in Japan.
I bought it.
I blew that joke.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't throw that one in there.
I was trying to fast forward through the credits the first time I watched it, thinking, oh, I wonder if they put a stinger at the end. And I went into the whole, foreign, copyright stuff. So I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I end up hitting the scene change. So I don't think there's anything beyond this.
Yeah.
No, I feel like
Cool.
this is a pretty much self-contained story in its own little world. I don't even know if we'll ever really revisit this, which is what makes it kind of really special,
Yeah, I mean, was that touched on with the questions like, oh, are you going to do another one? Or
No, that wasn't touched. They seemed really happy and content. They kind of were, they wanted to put as much into this as they needed to, and they just went for it with this one,
Yeah.
And
You kind of get that vibe too, like, okay, if we're going to do one, this will probably be our only one, or we may only get one, so let's just throw everything that we like about these characters, or use as much of this Batman universe and put it into what we know and turn out a really fun, cool project. I didn't know what I really thought of it the first time I watched it. I was like, okay, I think I liked it. Now sitting back, I'm glad we decided to do this commentary because I really came out of this going, I really dig this.
The more you watch it, the more you like it. You just really have to go into it open-minded. You have to realize at some point this is going to, literally, I guess for lack of a better term, jump the shark, and this is going to get really crazy. But just embrace it and just have fun with it. And, this is just a different form of Batman, which is what makes Batman so great, like we keep saying. It's just a different iteration. And that's what I think makes this movie very special.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, it's a different interpretation, but it does right by the characters, and that's the most important thing. And then it just has fun.
And the voice cast makes the transition to anime very easy. Like Tara Strong, Roger Craig Smith, Grey Griffin, like these are voices you're familiar with. So these are voices
and they have
very easy.
And they have experience. Yeah, and they have it. Yeah, and they have experience, voicing characters in anime, like you were saying. So
Roger Craig Smith actually started his career in anime. If you head over to the BOF YouTube page and you check out the individual interviews we have, they're really short. I think they're not more than maybe like 3 minutes long with various members of the cast. But Roger Craig says he got to start in anime, so it was fun for him to come back as Batman and kind of revisit this, being it was kind of a jumping point for his career.
Yeah, cool. So I guess it's over. Do we have any final thoughts on it? I mean, we've kind of been doing that anyway, but
I think it's a must-own, really. I think it's, like I said, it's a palate cleanser. It's refreshing. It's brand new. You won't see it. You're not going to see anything like this anywhere else. So I think this is a must-own. Just casually pop in every once in a while and just go in with it open-minded and give it a shot.
I also think the same thing. And also, if you've always kind of wondered, like, I wonder what Japanese animation is like, or some people, it may be kind of hard to wrap their head around it, like you don't get it. It's kind of cool to watch something like this with a subject knowledge that you're already coming into. Like, okay, I like Batman, but I've been kind of curious about Japanese animation and things like that. So you're already coming into knowing one thing, and I think you just kind of leave with what a great appreciation. I don't think this would work very well with like the Green Lantern or whoever, Booster Gold. I don't think it plays well, but there's just something about Batman that he can kind of work in about any medium that the story is being told in. I think this is a prime example of Batman can still be Batman in a fantastical situation.
Yeah. I mean, like you guys said, and like Bill and Rick both said, this is pretty much a must-own. I mean, it's something you should definitely buy to just experience, because it's fun, it's different. There's not really anything else like it, and it's just another fun way to express your love for Batman. And if they, money talks with this kind of stuff. If you buy it and support it, then I would not be that surprised if they let them do another one at some point in the future. But if this is the only one we get, I'm still cool with that. I'm glad it exists for sure to kind of add this, Batman anime legacy. So, I guess we will do some plugs and get out of here. The thing I want to plug first is that the next BOF podcast you hear will be all of the same people on this show, plus Terrence from the Everyone Loves the Drake podcast. We are going to do a giant retrospective deep dive into James Tynan's Detective Comics run.
Really looking forward to
he started. Yeah, I mean, Tynan started his Detective Comics run at the beginning of DC Rebirth, and it is sadly coming to an end with issue 981.
Yeah,
which comes out. Yeah, we're one issue away. It comes out next Wednesday, and our goal is to record just a giant podcast that covers his entire run, because it is, if you guys haven't read it, it is so good. I mean, I think, have you reviewed all of the issues, Pete, or most of them on BOF?
I started reviewing the book in the during the Lady Shiva arc, or Lady Shiva and Cassandra. That's
in the 950s.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So we're all giant fans of that arc. I think a lot of people have said that it's their favorite, book in DC Rebirth thus far.
The redefinition of spoilers has been tremendous. It's probably my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
of the
definitely.
arc.
Yeah. I can't wait to just kind of go arc by arc and character by character and just talk about and celebrate that whole arc, because I think it's an all-timer. I hope the end of it wraps it up nicely.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
But like I said, our goal is to record it and have it up for you guys on New Comic Book Day next Wednesday, so you can, if you're a fan and you're caught up, you can read issue 981 and then listen to our podcast where we just have a giant deep dive into the whole entire arc. So look for that hopefully next week. And for my plugs, just follow me on Twitter, Ryan Haas, at SMB_Ryan, and I'll let the other guys plug their stuff. What about you, Rob?
You can find me at DrummerRob10 on Twitter, and that's all I have. No, okay.
What?
Okay, there is this other thing. The last episode of the radio drama A Lonely Place of Living, going back to James Tynan's Detective Comics run, If you haven't been listening to it, I really kind of hope you would, because there's a lot of great talent in it. The last episode 74 for the 4-part radio drama, will release Wednesday, the 23rd, New Comic Book Day. So you will not only get a BOF podcast, but you will get a Everyone Loves a Drake podcast at the same time. So it doesn't matter which one you listen to. I'm on both, so I'm good. No, so yeah, that's coming up.
Listen to both.
Yeah, listen to both. But yeah, that's coming up. You can find us there at ELTD Podcast with Terrence and, of course, Ryan. And at some point, we need to figure out what we're going to do after Lonely Place of Living. Like, we got to pull a Costanza and go, thank you, good night.
Yeah. I'm going to rest like Thanos and just kind of wait a year.
We're just waiting to figure it out.
You could follow me on Twitter at Pete Illustrated. You can follow me on Instagram at Peter_Illustrated. And please check out all the content from the Batman Ninja premiere interviews. I do interviews with Tara Strong, Gray Griffin, Tony Hale, Roger Craig Smith, and we even get some cool fan reviews and their opinions after the screening. So there's definitely a lot of cool stuff to check out there. So please head on over to the YouTube page and check that stuff out.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up today's episode. For Pete and Rob, I'm Ryan. Thanks for listening, and as always, Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive, the dadgum original. We'll catch you next time.
Hey now! You've been listening to the Batman on Film podcast, a proud member and the sponsor of the Batman Podcast Network, batmanpodcastnetwork.com. You can listen to the BOF podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, TuneIn, and wherever good podcasts like this one can be found. Want to advertise on the BOF podcast? Go to advertisecast.com/the Batman on Film Con podcast. Follow Jet on Twitter at Batman on Film and on BOF's Facebook fan page at facebook.com/jet.batmanonfilm. Email Jet via jet@batman-on-film.com. I'm announcer Rachel. Thanks for listening.